Hello everyone and welcome to an incredible game already in round 2 of this year's FIDE World Cup. We are still on the lookout for the next 3 candidates for the FIDE Candidates Tournament 2026, and both Levon Aronian and Aronyak Ghosh will have a chance to do that, but they first have to beat each other. And this is the first classical game they are playing. One of the players is Levon Aronian, so of course the game is exactly what you were expecting it to be, but it shows that sometimes it's a good thing that our opponent is human. So let's see what happened here. Aronyak had a pretty good round 1. He defeated Polish Grandmaster Mateusz Bartel. It was a pretty tough match, but in the end he was victorious. So let's dive straight into it. Levon opens with pawn to e4, and Aronyak replies with pawn to e5. We have bishop to c4, already Levon mixing it up. And if we check out the situation on the clocks, we have knight to f6 played instantly. So bishop to c4, you have to be ready for everything at this level, and obviously Aronyak is. We have d3, pawn to c6, preparing to strike with pawn to d5, knight f3, and pawn to d5. Captures, bishop to b3, and bishop to b4 check. All has been played before, nothing new here. c3, bishop to d6, and both players castle. So castles, we have bishop to g5, pinning the knight, and the bishop to e6. Okay, very harmonious development. As you can see, knight bd2, knight bd7, and rook to e1. And here there are a couple of games where queen to c7 was played. Here we have pawn to h6, and it is now as of move 11 that we have a completely new game. Aronyak down to hour and 11 minutes, Levon almost full time, an hour and 29 minutes on the clock, goes bishop to h4. Okay, queen to c7, again, played pretty much instantly, and pawn to c4 by Levon, challenging that the d5 pawn, bishop to f5, challenging the d3 pawn, and, well, Levon always welcomes a bit of asymmetry into his life. We have captures, and rook to c1. Attacking the queen, we have queen to b8, and here it comes, knight to c4. Queen to b8 and knight to c4. And the question here is, why is Levon allowing pawn to e4, which will remove the knight, which will allow bishop captures on h2? Obviously, he has calculated it deeply and greatly. Or, maybe he just has a hunch. Okay, bishop captures on c4, you eliminate the knight, so the bishop on d6 is not on pre. Rook captures and pawn to e4. And again, what is Levon seeing here? Knight to d2, bishop captures on h2 check. We have king to h1 and pawn to g5. Okay, g3. Still very, very possible to calculate all of this within maybe even minutes. G captures on h4, but now Levon does not capture back material. Instead, he goes knight captures on e4. And the problem is, if you go knight captures on e4 and then just claim you're going to save your bishop with h captures on g3, then Levon had in mind rook c captures on e4, and after captures queen d2. And good luck surviving this. You're getting checkmated, and there is absolutely nothing you can do. So you cannot play that move order. H captures on g3 first. We have f captures on g3, and only now knight captures on e4. Rook c captures on e4, and now you can still play this, but not the way it was played in the game. Queen to d6 is the only move that holds black's position, and, well, it would take a very long time to tell you why, but you have to keep an eye on the h6 pawn. That's only one thing. Getting the queen back to the game is the other, and we will discuss it more. But here, queen to d6 was not played. Knight to f6 was played, and now Levon is completely winning. But interestingly, Levon chooses a different idea in his game. He doesn't find the winning idea, or rather he does. But in order to defend it, like I said at the beginning of the video, you would have to not be human, whatever that means. So what would you play here? Feel free to pause the video and try to find the absolute best move for Levon while I give you a couple of seconds. The killer move here is rook to g4 check, and there is really nothing you can do about this. If you move the king, then you have all sorts of queen d4, bishop to c2. I mean, you just can't allow that rook to remain on g4. So the only real try for black is knight captures on g4, which is met with queen captures on g4 check. And after the king moves, it seems like, okay, how do we win this? Only one move. queen d4 check. And now after pawn to f6, you have d6, which is somewhat similar to what Levon played in the game, but not quite. Now you are preventing the queen from entering the game, but okay, black asks, but okay, what now? Bishop captures on g3. Where's the finish? Here it is, queen d2. And now you can no longer defend. The bishop, queen, and rook combo are taking away all of the squares that the black king has and just getting checkmated. If king h7, you're just going to go rook to e7 with check. King to g6, you have to go down the board now, and now it's a king hunt that will end in checkmate. Queen to f3 with check, king h4, bishop d1 with the unstoppable, either queen h5 or queen to g4 checkmate. There's nothing black can do about this. But Levon played pawn to d6 first, which seems like, okay, he sees it, he found the line, but this one can be defended for a very, very impossible, at a human level to spot reason. But you guys are, stronger than that. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the only move that holds this for black while I give you a couple of seconds. Believe it or not, the rook, the move that holds is queen to c8. It looks like a silly move. I mean, why would you play this? It seems like it has nothing to do with this game, but it has everything to do with this game. You are preventing anything from going to g4, and also more than that, you are keeping an eye on the f5 square, which after the only forced line that makes sense for white, and I will show it because it's very complicated. King captures on h2, knight captures on e4, rook captures on e4. Now you have queen c5. Again, extremely important. And finally, after rook g4 check, king h7, and bishop to c2 check, seems like you're still getting checkmated. No, there's pawn to f5, and now you defend. This holds. I mean, it's still very, very difficult, and you have to be incredibly precise, but you're up material, so you should be fine here. But after pawn to d6, Aronyak did not find this queen to c8 sorcery move. He played bishop captures on g3, and now Levon is once again winning, and this time he plays it. Rook to g4 check, knight captures, we have queen captures on g4 check, and now again we said the king h7, bishop to c2 check, and now if you go pawn to f5, rook to e7 with check, and after the king moves, okay, queen g7 checkmate. So after queen captures on g4 check, king to h8 was played, and now again, not an easy move to find, but always look for that centralizing move with the queen, whether it does so with check or not. But queen d4 check, the only move that wins. Levon played it, and now after pawn to f6, what did Levon see? I'm sure you see it. We've already discussed it. Queen captures. I'm just kidding. Queen to d2. That is the move. And there's nothing you can do to defend that. If king h7, just rook e7 check, kicks the king away. Then you go after the pawn. In the game, rook f7 was played. One last trick. If Levon captures on h6, then rook h7 traps the white queen. But, no, I'm kidding. That's not why it was played. It was played because after bishop captures on f7, you have a tempo on the bishop, king g7, but it doesn't matter. Levon ignores the threat, just plays queen to d3, and he was in this position on move 30 that Aronyak Ghosh resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. You are threatening queen to g6, and if the king captures on f7, then queen to h7 check. Only move king to f8, and then rook e7 with the following queen g7, queen to f7, queen to h8. All of these moves are checkmate with the black pieces very, very suspiciously played, all the way on the queen side, out of the game, not really doing anything. But yeah, this pawn to d6 move just accomplished all of that. Even though it tactically didn't work, I would say at a cellular level, you would have to be, inhuman to spot the mistake that Levon actually made here over the board. But yeah, brilliant stuff by Levon. He wins the first game. We'll see what happens with Aronyak having the white pieces and Levon having black. But he is well on his way to qualifying for round 3 of the FIDE World Cup 2025. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it's an interesting game. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Francesco Corradi, Uzi Shalev, Francisco Santana, Deepak Gangadaran, and Eddie Sphere for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And if you still haven't, first link in the description below. Download Lotus Chess, improve your chess, and be ready. In a couple of days, we're going to have the November Arena and a lot of cool prizes for the winners. See you soon.